I thought playing college football was pretty much required if you were gonna get drafted in the NFL. I mean, if you watch the NFL draft, all you see are players getting picked from these top SEC schools, Big 10, Big 12. These conferences and teams are where all the talent is coming from. If you watch the entire first and second round, I guarantee you 99% of those players are coming from one of those conferences. But in the world of sports, there are always exceptions to the rules. Because there's an athlete that just got drafted without playing a down of college football. And if you haven't heard of him, let me introduce you to Qwan'tez Stiggers.
It's picked off, the Argos picked it off. It is Qwan'tez Stiggers.
And let me tell you, he does not have your typical path to the NFL, not even close. Qwan'tez Stiggers grew up an exceptional athlete, there's no doubt about that, but he was supposed to play college football for Lane College, a Division II team in Jackson, Tennessee, and things get interesting really quickly because he had to quit pursuing his dream of playing college football to take care of his family with 13 siblings. Unfortunately, his dad suffered a lot of injuries from a car crash that he just went through, which ultimately led to his passing. So you can imagine the burden that Stiggers had at the moment. But his mom had his back and he still had enough family support to find an opportunity to play football at the Fan Control Football League. And I don't know what you know about the Fan Control Football League, but I've seen some clips of it on YouTube, and let me tell you, it's something different. It's a 7-on-7 tournament, and the field is pretty much the size of a basketball court. Some of the players look like they're still in high school. I read online that the active roster players were paid weekly $400 plus room and board, and for the coaches, it wasn't much better. But for a startup program, you could say that it has seen some success, but it's not remotely close to the experience of the NFL. I don't know what Qwan'tez Stiggers was expecting from joining the Fan Control Football League, but I don't think he was expecting this, because what happens next is pretty crazy. There's this league called the CFL, the Canadian Football League. I'm sure many of you have heard of it. And there's a team that plays for that league called the Argos. And there's a coach and a staff member on that team that started to notice Stiggers. He decided to give him a shot. This leap of faith, this risk that he took on Stiggers would actually work out. Let me tell you why. He became the first defensive back in 25 years to win the CFL Rookie of the Year. In 25 years, I haven't even been around on Earth that long. That's a long time. So he goes from the Fan Control Football League to the CFL, and keep in mind, he hasn't played a down of college football up until this point. And he does have a good build. He's around 6 foot, a little over 200 pounds, and he officially clocked in at like a 4.45 40-yard dash. Don't quote me on that, but whatever his 40 time was, he was an exceptional athlete. So with these measurables in every game becoming a highlight tape for Stiggers, he was now a well-known scout for the NFL, especially for the New York Jets. This would lead the Jets to signing Stiggers to a 4-year, $4.4 million contract after getting drafted in the 5th round of the 2024 NFL Draft. Things turned around pretty quickly for Stiggers. And you remember when I said I thought it was impossible to make it into the NFL and not play college football? Well, it almost is. I pulled this article from online and this is what it states. Stiggers was the 3rd player in the common draft era since 1967 to be selected without having attended college. The 3rd player since 1967? That's pretty close to impossible. And not only is he going to get a lot more exposure and have an excellent career in the NFL, hopefully, but he also gets a good bump in pay. There was an ESPN staff writer that stated he made $73,000 Canadian during his lone season with the Argos, which equates to $54,000 in current US dollars. That's pretty middle class, but maybe not considering inflation, but that's a whole nother conversation. And his 4-year contract with the Jets would average about $1.1 million per year. His story is really just beginning, and I can't wait to see it unfold throughout the years. Stiggers never gave up, and now he has a shot to compete with the best and be one of the best defensive backs in the NFL. And to be honest, I can't really think of the last time the Jets had a good season. When was the last time they had a good season? Tell me, please comment down down below. But maybe this is the player that the Jets need. I was watching them draft Qwan'tez Stiggers on YouTube and everyone was getting emotional. You could tell that they were really wanting to invest in this player and really had faith that he could contribute a lot to the team. It's going to be really interesting to see how he develops in the NFL, if his lack of college experience playing in the CFL, Fan Control Football League, will give him any special advantage. I don't know, but all I know is that he's a hidden gem. And he's an example of why we should never give up. If you're an athlete out there, never give up. If you enjoyed this video, join the newsletter linked down below. Any support you guys give really helps out this channel. I'm kind of new to long form content, trying to spice things up, so any support you guys give is much appreciated.